He left his wife on their first night wearing nothing, overwhelmed with emotion, and divorced her. Then a stranger knocked. "Hi, my very beautiful, loyal, and loving family. Welcome home, welcome back to Mr. Peter Stories. How are you, my angels, my warriors, my prayer partners? My heart has missed you deeply. A special prayer from the depths of my soul just for you. Heavenly Father, I come to you not for myself but for my family, the beautiful souls watching this right now. Cover them with peace, touch their hearts with comfort, open doors that no man can shut. Heal every silent pain they carry. Let joy overflow in their homes, and let your light chase away every darkness. Amen. Family, are you happy to have me back? Be honest with your brother. Am I still making you feel the way I used to? Or have I come back a little broken? I'm human too, but I'm here for you. If you're truly happy to see your brother again, and you still believe in this bond we share, please like, subscribe, and leave a heartfelt comment. I am with my brother, Mr. Peter. Say it loud, say it proud, because I feel your love, and I need it now more than ever. Let's begin today's story, not with drama, not with pain, but with what we all need most in this life. Let's start with love. The crystal chandelier cast a soft, romantic glow across the luxurious honeymoon suite at the Reynolds Grand Hotel. Serena Williams stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, her slender fingers tracing the delicate lace on her wedding gown as she gazed at the city lights twinkling beneath the velvet night sky. The diamond ring on her finger caught the light, sending prisms dancing across the wall. She was now Mrs. Reynolds, at least that's what she thought. At 28, Serena had accomplished more than most. A brilliant software developer with acquired confidence and radiant beauty, she had built her reputation from nothing, just as her father had built his small tech company from the ground up. Her dark skin glowed with happiness, and her eyes sparkled with anticipation of the life ahead with Marcus Reynolds, the man she had fallen for despite their different worlds. "Marcus?" she called, her voice melodic, yet tinged with confusion. He had excused himself nearly an hour ago, claiming he needed to make an important business call. The champagne in their glasses had gone flat, the rose petals on the king-sized bed untouched. The silence that answered her made her heart flutter uncomfortably. Serena reached for her phone, her manicured nails tapping against the screen as she dialed his number. It went straight to voicemail. Again, a soft knock on the door startled her. Finally, she breathed, relieved. She moved gracefully across the room, the hem of her wedding dress sweeping across the plush carpet. "I was starting to worry about you," she said, opening the door with a smile that quickly faded. Instead of her husband, she found a stone-faced hotel manager holding an envelope. "Mrs. Reynolds," he said, his voice professionally detached, yet somehow pitying. "I was asked to deliver this to you personally." Serena's fingers trembled as she took the envelope, her name written in Marcus's distinctive handwriting. Something cold and hard settled in her stomach. "Is everything all right?" The manager's question hung in the air. "Yes," she lied, forcing a smile. "Thank you." When the door closed, Serena stood frozen, staring at the envelope as if it might bite. Finally, she tore it open, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. "Serena, I can't do this. I thought I could, but I can't. Please understand, this isn't about you. It's about what I need to do for my family. By the time you read this, I will have already filed for divorce. The hotel is paid for the week. I'm sorry. Marcus." The paper slipped from her fingers and floated to the floor like a dead leaf. Disbelief crashed over her in waves, followed quickly by humiliation so acute it made her physically ill. She stumbled to the bathroom, her wedding dress suddenly feeling like a straitjacket, constricting her lungs and making it impossible to breathe. With trembling hands, she tore at the buttons and hooks until the beautiful gown, a gown she had spent months selecting, pooled around her feet like a deflated dream. Standing in her delicate lingerie, chosen specially for this night, Serena caught her reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back at her looked like a stranger, beautiful but abandoned, her carefully applied makeup now streaked with tears she hadn't realized she was shedding. She didn't hear the room phone ringing at first. When reality pierced through the fog of her shock, she wrapped herself in the hotel's plush robe and moved mechanically to answer it. "Mrs. Reynolds, I apologize for the disturbance," came the concierge's voice, "but there's a gentleman here insisting on seeing you. He says it's regarding Mr. Reynolds. Shall I send him up?" "Who is it?" Serena asked, her voice sounding distant. To her own ears, "An Adam Booker, ma'am." The name meant nothing to her. "I don't know any Adam Booker. He says it's urgent, regarding your husband's situation." Husband. The word was a knife twist. Ex-husband, apparently. Filed for divorce, before they'd even consummated the marriage. "Send him up," she said finally. Perhaps this stranger had answers. Perhaps this was all an elaborate, cruel joke. Serena moved like a sleepwalker back to the bedroom. The wedding dress lay in a heap on the bathroom floor, a mockery of all her hopes. She couldn't bear to look at it. Instead, she pulled on a simple black dress from her suitcase, packed for their honeymoon in the Maldives. A honeymoon that would never happen now. She had just finished wiping away the mascara streaks when the knock came. Taking a deep breath, she opened the door to find a tall, broad-shouldered man with intense, dark eyes that widened slightly at the sight of her. There was something vaguely familiar about him, but she couldn't place it. "Serena," he said, her name soft on his lips, almost reverent. Then, seeming to catch himself, he straightened. "I mean, Mrs. Reynolds, I'm Adam Booker. I know about Marcus." The simple statement unleashed a fresh wave of humiliation. Was everyone already aware of her abandonment? Had Marcus been laughing about his plan with friends? "What do you know?" she asked, her voice stronger than she felt, pride forcing her. Spine straight, despite feeling shattered inside. "May I come in?" he asked instead of answering. "This isn't a conversation for a hallway." Against her better judgment, Serena stepped aside. Adam Booker entered the room, his presence somehow filling the space without being intrusive. He wore a simple but clearly expensive dark suit, no tie, and carried himself with quiet confidence. His eyes fell on the divorce notice on the floor, and a muscle in his jaw tightened. "That bastard," he muttered, then looked up at her. "I'm sorry. That was unprofessional." "You still haven't told me who you are or what you know," Serena said, crossing her arms protectively over her chest. Adam hesitated, as if carefully choosing his words. "I grew up in the same neighborhood as you, though you probably don't remember me. I was a few years ahead in school." He paused, watching her reaction. "I've known Marcus for years through business connections. What he's done..." He shook his head. "It's not what you think. And what do I think?" Serena challenged, anger finally breaking through her shock. "That you weren't good enough, that he found someone better, that you did something wrong." Adam's voice was gentle but firm. "None of that is true. Marcus left because he was ordered to." Ordered? By whom? His father. Adam's eyes never left hers. "This marriage was never meant to last, Serena. It was a business move from the beginning. The Reynolds family." He trailed off, seeming to debate how much to reveal. "The Reynolds family." "What?" Serena demanded, her brilliant mind already connecting. Dots she hadn't seen before. Adam moved to the window, looking out at the city lights that had enchanted Serena earlier. "The Reynolds family has been trying to acquire your father's company for years. Your marriage to Marcus was part of their strategy." The revelation hit Serena like a physical blow. She sank onto the edge of the bed, her legs no longer able to support her. "That's insane," Marcus and I dated for almost 2 years before he proposed. Adam turned back to her, compassion evident in his expression. 2 years during which your father's company developed its most innovative security software, making it an even more attractive acquisition. Serena's mind raced, reviewing every moment of her relationship with Marcus through this new, horrifying lens. The coincidental meetings, his sudden interest in her father's business, the questions that had seemed born of genuine curiosity at the time. "How do you know all this?" she finally asked, looking up at the stranger who had just shattered the last of her illusions. Adam hesitated again. "Let's just say I have my sources in the industry. I came as soon as I confirmed what was happening." He moved closer, cautiously, as if approaching a wounded animal. "Serena, I know this is overwhelming, but you need to be careful. This isn't over." "What do you mean? The Reynolds family doesn't give up easily if they couldn't get what they wanted through marriage." The implication hung in the air between them. Serena stood suddenly, anger burning away her tears. "Who exactly are you, Adam Booker, and why do you care what happens to me?" Something flickered in his eyes, something warm and deep that disappeared so quickly she thought she might have imagined it. "Let's just say I have a vested interest in seeing." "Justice done," he said, reaching into his jacket pocket and pulling out a business card. "I'm staying in this hotel. If you need anything at all, please call me." Serena took the card automatically, noting the minimal information it provided. Just his name and a phone number. No company, no position. "I'll leave you now," Adam said softly. "You've had enough shocks for one night. But please, Serena, be careful and know that you're not alone in this." As he moved toward the door, Serena found her voice again. "Why should I trust you? I don't even know you." Adam stopped, his hand on the doorknob. He turned back to her with an expression so intense it made her breath catch. "Because unlike Marcus Reynolds, I have nothing to gain by lying to you." With that, he was gone, leaving Serena alone with her shattered wedding night and a business card from a mysterious stranger who somehow knew more about her husband's betrayal than she did. Chapter 2. The Unexpected Visitor. Morning light filtered through the curtains, casting harsh reality over the honeymoon suite. Serena had barely slept, her mind racing between disbelief, humiliation, and rage. The divorce papers had arrived via courier at 7 a.m. Marcus had wasted no time making their separation official. The swift efficiency of it all only confirmed Adam Booker's words. This had been planned. Serena sat cross-legged on the suite's couch, still in her nightclothes, hair pulled back in a messy bun as she pored over the documents. Despite her emotional turmoil, her analytical mind couldn't help but note the thoroughness of the prenuptial agreement she'd signed. At the time, she'd thought it was standard procedure for someone from Marcus's wealthy family. Now, each clause felt like another calculated betrayal. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was her father. "Baby girl." James Williams's deep voice came through the speaker, concern evident. "I've been trying to reach you since last night. What's going on?" "Marcus's father just called me about some unfortunate development." Serena closed her eyes, the shame washing over her anew. "Daddy, Her voice cracked. "Marcus left me, last night, after the wedding." The silence on the other end was deafening. When her father spoke again, his voice had the deadly calm that Serena recognized from her childhood, the tone he used when he was controlling fury. "Where are you now?" "Still at the hotel." "Pack your things. I'm coming to get you." "No, Dad," Serena said firmly, wiping away a stray tear. "I'm a grown woman. I got myself into this mess and I'll get myself out." Even as the words left her mouth, she realized she had no idea what her next steps would be. Her apartment had been sublet in anticipation of moving into Marcus's penthouse. Her job, she'd given notice, planning to take an extended honeymoon. Before considering her next career move, Serena, listen to me. Her father's voice grew urgent. Something isn't right about this. Yesterday morning, Reynolds Sr. made another offer for Williams Tech, triple what he offered last month. The information struck Serena like a thunderbolt, Adam's warnings ringing in her ears. Did you accept? Of course not. Our security software is about to revolutionize the market. It's worth 10 times what he offered. Pride momentarily overshadowed concern in her father's voice. But the timing seemed suspicious now. A knock on the door interrupted their conversation. Dad, someone's here. I'll call you back. Serena approached the door cautiously, checking the peephole. Adam Booker stood in the hallway, his tall frame casually dressed in dark jeans and a light blue button-down that emphasized his broad shoulders. Despite the circumstances, Serena couldn't help but notice how handsome he was in daylight, his strong jaw contrasting with surprisingly gentle eyes. She opened the door a few inches, still in her sleep shorts and tank top. Mr. Booker, I wasn't expecting you. His eyes briefly traced over her appearance before politely lifting back to her face. I'm sorry to intrude, but I brought breakfast. He held up a bag from the hotel's acclaimed restaurant. I thought you might not feel like going downstairs. The gesture was so unexpectedly thoughtful that Serena found herself stepping back to let him in. How are you holding up? He asked, setting the bag on the dining table and unpacking containers of fresh fruit, pastries and coffee, as well as can be expected when you're served divorce papers before your wedding night, Serena responded dryly, self-consciously running a hand through her unkempt hair. Give me a minute to change. When she emerged from the bedroom in jeans and a simple blouse, Adam had arranged breakfast on the table and was examining the divorce papers with a frown. These were prepared weeks ago, he said without looking up. The date of preparation is buried in the legal jargon, but it's here. Page 17, paragraph 3. Serena picked up the papers, finding the reference exactly where he'd indicated. Her hands trembled with renewed anger. He knew all along. 2 weeks ago, we were finalizing wedding details and he was preparing to leave me. Adam's expression darkened. The Reynolds family plays the long game, always have. He gestured to the food. You should eat something. Surprisingly, Serena found she was hungry. As they ate, Adam explained more about his connection to the situation. I've been tracking the Reynolds family's business practices for years, he said between bites of croissant. Their shipping company is legitimate, but there are other ventures that operate in gray areas. Their interest in your father's security software isn't just about market dominance. What does that mean? Serena asked, her coffee halfway to her lips. Adam hesitated. Your father's encryption algorithms could be repurposed for things beyond corporate security, things that would be valuable to certain international entities. The implication sent a chill down Serena's spine. Are you saying they wanted to steal our technology for illegal purposes? I'm saying their interest goes beyond normal business acquisition, Adam replied carefully, and they were willing to use you to get it. Serena set down her coffee cup with more force than intended. I still don't understand why you're involved in this. Who exactly are you, Adam Booker? A shadow crossed his face. Someone who knows what it's like to be used by the Reynolds family. He reached for his phone, scrolling to find something. There's something else you should know. He slid the phone across the table. On the screen was a photograph. Serena in the honeymoon suite bathroom, captured through the partially open door as she removed her wedding dress, revealing the lingerie beneath. Her blood ran cold. Where did you get this? She whispered, feeling violated. To her core, Marcus sent it to his father last night before he left. My source intercepted the communication. Adam's voice was gentle but firm. There are more. They were planning to use them as leverage if your father continued to refuse their offers. Rage and humiliation competed for dominance as Serena stared at the image. She had been nothing but a pawn in their game, not even a person deserving of basic dignity. "Delete it," she commanded, pushing the phone back toward him. "Delete all of them." "I have," Adam assured her, "but Marcus still has the originals." Serena stood abruptly, needing to move, to do something with the energy coursing through her. "Why are you helping me? What do you get out of this?" Adam remained seated, his eyes following her movements. "Let's just say I owe the Reynolds family some payback of my own." "That's not an answer." He sighed, running a hand through his dark hair. "Serena, do you remember Oakwood Elementary? 6th grade?" The question came so out of left field that Serena stopped pacing. She searched her memory, trying to make the connection. "Vaguely. What does this have to do with anything?" "You were the only black girl in our advanced math class. The teacher, Mrs. Hancock, used to pair us up for projects." A small smile touched his lips. "You always did most of the work because my calculations were too slow." The memory filtered back slowly, a skinny boy with glasses too big for his face, quiet but always kind. "Adam? Little Adam with the science fair projects?" Serena stared at him, trying to reconcile the awkward child with the confident man before her. "But you moved away." "My mother got a job in another state," he confirmed. "But I never forgot this neighborhood, or the people in it." He stood, moving closer to her, his expression serious. "The Reynolds family has been bullying their way through this community for generations. Your father's company is just their latest target. I have the resources to help you fight back, if you'll let me." "Resources?" Serena's eyes narrowed. "What kind of resources?" Adam hesitated again, and Serena had the distinct impression he was holding something back. "I've done well for myself," he said finally. "I have connections, information, and the means to protect you while we figure out how to handle this situation." "We?" Serena challenged, even as something warmed inside her at the thought of not facing this alone. "If you want," he amended. "This is your battle, Serena. I'm just offering to be your ally." She studied him, this man who was both stranger and somehow familiar. There was something in his eyes when he looked at her, something beyond professional interest or childhood nostalgia, that made her heart beat faster despite everything. "I need to call my father," she said finally. "He should know what's happening." Adam nodded, stepping back to give her space. "Of course, I'll wait." As Serena moved to the bedroom for privacy, she glanced back at Adam, who had returned to studying the divorce papers, his brow furrowed in concentration. He seemed genuinely invested in helping her, and right now she desperately needed someone on her side. "Adam," she called softly. He looked up immediately, his expression attentive. "Thank you," she said simply, "for the breakfast, and for caring about what happens to me." Something flickered in his eyes, that same warmth she'd glimpsed the night before. "Always," he replied. The word weighted with a meaning Serena couldn't fully decipher. As she closed the bedroom door to call her father, Serena couldn't shake the feeling that Adam Booker knew far more about her than he was letting on, and that his appearance in her life at this precise moment was less coincidence than it seemed. Chapter 3. Painful Revelations. 2 days after her disastrous wedding, Serena sat across from her father in his modest office at Williams Tech. The small but innovative company occupied half a floor in a downtown building, nothing like the gleaming skyscraper that housed Reynolds Industries. But what Williams Tech lacked in square footage, it made up for in groundbreaking security software. "I still think you should press charges," James Williams said, his salt and pepper beard doing little to hide his clenched jaw. At 62, he remained formidable, a self-taught programmer who had built his company from nothing while raising Serena alone after her mother died of cancer when Serena was just 8. "And tell the police what, Dad? That my husband took private photos of me on our wedding night before abandoning me?" Serena shook her head, her sleek ponytail swinging with the movement. "The humiliation isn't worth it. Besides, we don't have... I'm proof that Marcus still has the photos." "But this man, this Adam Booker, he saw them," her father insisted. Serena sighed, thinking of Adam. Since their breakfast meeting, he'd kept a respectful distance, texting only to check on her well-being, and to offer assistance should she need it. There was something comforting about knowing he was there, even as she grappled with trusting anyone after Marcus's betrayal. "Adam deleted the copies he intercepted," she explained for the 3rd time. "He believes Marcus took them as insurance, blackmail, material to force you to sell the company if their marriage scheme failed." James leaned back in his chair, his expression troubled. "And you trust this Booker character? A man who conveniently appears the moment your marriage falls apart?" "It was a fair question. I'm not sure trust is the right word," Serena admitted. "But he went to school with me, Dad. I remember him from Oakwood. He was always quiet, but kind." Before her father could respond, his assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Williams, the Reynolds Industries representatives are here." James rose, straightening his tie. "You don't have to stay for this, Serena." "Yes, I do," she replied, standing. "Well, it's time I face them." Her father studied her for a moment, then nodded with pride. "That's my girl." The conference room felt too small once occupied by Serena, her father, and 3 Reynolds Industries executives, including Marcus's father, Harold Reynolds, an imperious man in his 60s with cold blue eyes and not a silver hair out of place. Conspicuously absent was Marcus himself. "Ms. Williams," Harold said with false warmth, deliberately using her maiden name. "I was surprised to hear you would be joining us. This is a business meeting after all. As the Chief Innovation Officer of Williams Tech, my presence is entirely appropriate," Serena replied coolly, having accepted her father's job offer that morning. She wore a crisp white blouse and tailored navy blazer, armor against these. People who had tried to break her. Harold's smile tightened. "Of course, my mistake." He turned to James. "Shall we get down to business? Our offer remains on the table. Triple the market valuation for Williams Tech, plus generous retention packages. For key staff, including my daughter?" James asked, pointedly. Harold had the grace to look uncomfortable. "The situation with Marcus and Ms. Williams is regrettable. A personal matter that needn't affect our business arrangements." Serena felt a surge of rage so powerful she had to grip her pen to stay silent. A personal matter? As if Marcus had forgotten to call, not abandoned her on their wedding night as part of a corporate conspiracy. "Mr. Reynolds," her father said evenly, "let me be clear. Williams Tech is not for sale, not to you, not at any price." "I strongly advise you to reconsider," one of the other executives interjected. "The market is volatile. Your current valuation may not hold." "Is that a threat?" Serena asked, unable to contain herself any longer. Harold Reynolds turned his cold gaze to her. "Merely a market observation, Ms. Williams. Though I understand why you might be sensitive to perceived slights after recent events." The condescension in his tone made Serena's blood boil. "Recent events orchestrated by your family, you mean? Tell me, Mr. Reynolds, how long did you and Marcus plan this? Was it before or after he proposed?" "Serena," her father cautioned quietly. Harold's expression hardened. "I'm not sure what you're implying, but my son's personal decisions are his own. If your relationship failed, perhaps you should look to your own shortcomings rather than fabricating conspiracies." Serena leaned forward. "Interesting. So the divorce papers prepared 2 weeks before our wedding were just, what, a precaution?" And I suppose the photos Marcus took of me in our honeymoon suite were also just innocent mementos. The momentary widening of Harold's eyes told her everything she needed to know. He hadn't expected her to know about the photos. "I think this meeting is over," James declared, standing. "Gentlemen, I'll have security escort you out." As the Reynolds contingent gathered their materials, Harold paused beside Serena's chair. "You're playing a dangerous game, Ms. Williams," he murmured, too low for the others to hear. "Be careful you don't get burned." After they left, Serena released a shaky breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "You knew about the photos," her father said, not a question but a statement. "Why didn't you tell me?" Serena met his concerned gaze. "I needed to see Harold's reaction for myself. Adam was right. They're planning to use them somehow." "This Adam seems to know a lot about the Reynolds family's tactics," James observed. "I think it's time I met him." Adam arrived at Williams Tech precisely at the agreed time, dressed in a simple charcoal suit that somehow looked like it. Cost more than most people's monthly salary. Serena watched her father evaluate him with the same intensity he used when reviewing new code. "Mr. Williams," Adam said, extending his hand, "thank you for agreeing to meet with me." They settled in James's office, the downtown skyline visible through the windows. Serena couldn't help noticing how Adam's presence seemed to fill the room. Without effort, a quiet confidence that didn't need to announce itself. "My daughter tells me you've been helpful during this difficult time," James began. "But I'm still not clear on why you're involved or what your interest is in our situation." Adam nodded, accepting the direct approach. "Fair enough." He removed a small device from his pocket and placed it on the desk. "If you don't mind, this will ensure our conversation remains private." James raised an eyebrow. "You think we're being monitored?" "I think the Reynolds family has a history of industrial espionage," Adam replied evenly, activating the device. A soft blue light indicated it was working. "And your security software would be a valuable acquisition for certain clients they deal with outside official channels." Serena felt a chill at the confirmation of what Adam had hinted at before. "You're saying they want to steal our encryption algorithms for illegal purposes?" "Not just any encryption algorithms," Adam said, his eyes meeting hers with unexpected intensity. "Your algorithms, Serena, the adaptive security protocols you developed last year, are exactly what certain foreign entities are looking for. Software that can protect sensitive communications while simultaneously creating backdoor access for the right users." Surprise rendered her momentarily speechless. "How do you know about that? That project was classified, even within our company." A ghost of a smile touched Adam's lips. "I make it my business to know about innovations that could be weaponized, especially when they're created by people I care about." The statement hung in the air, laden with implications Serena wasn't ready to examine. James leaned forward. "You still haven't answered my question, Mr. Booker. Who are you, really?" Adam considered his words carefully. "Officially, I'm the founder and CEO of Sentinel Security Systems. Unofficially, I've been monitoring Reynolds Industries for years, documenting their more questionable business practices." "Sentinel Security?" James's eyes widened with recognition. "The enterprise encryption firm?" Serena's mind raced. Sentinel was a major player in the cybersecurity space, a direct competitor to much larger corporations, known for its cutting-edge technology and the reclusive genius behind it. "You're that Adam Booker?" she asked, pieces falling into place. "The billionaire tech developer?" Adam winced slightly at the description. "I prefer security specialist, but yes." "Why didn't you tell me?" Serena demanded, feeling somehow betrayed again. "Would it have made a difference?" he countered gently. "You were already dealing with enough shock. And I wanted to help you as Adam, the kid from Oakwood Elementary, not as some tech CEO you might feel obligated to impress." There was something in his expression, a vulnerability behind the successful businessman facade that made Serena's irritation fade. He'd been honest about everything except his wealth and position, and given her recent experience with Marcus, she could understand his caution. James cleared his throat. "So, Sentinel Security is interested in Williams Tech. Is that what this is about? You want our company too?" "No, sir," Adam said firmly. "I'm here because the Reynolds family has crossed a line, using Serena as a pawn in their corporate games." His voice hardened, a flash of anger breaking through his composed exterior. "That's personal." Serena felt a rush of warmth at his protectiveness, even as her practical mind questioned it. "You mentioned having evidence of their illegal activities." Adam nodded, pulling a secure tablet from his briefcase. Financial trails, intercepted communications, shell company structures. They've been selling modified shipping technology to sanctioned countries for years, disguised as agricultural equipment. He passed the tablet to James. "But what they really want is your security software, specifically the adaptive protocols Serena designed to protect those communications." James scrolled through the documents, his expression growing increasingly grave. "This is extensive and inadmissible in court, since most of it was obtained through unorthodox channels," Adam admitted. "But it's enough to understand what we're dealing with, which brings us back to the photos," Serena said quietly. "If they can't buy our company legitimately," Adam's expression darkened, "they'll use them to force your hand, your father's reputation, your dignity, collateral damage in their business strategy." The bluntness of his assessment hit Serena like a physical blow. "Then we need to get those photos back." "That won't be easy," Adam cautioned. "Marcus keeps everything sensitive on an encrypted drive, and after today's meeting, they'll be on guard." James set down the tablet, his decision made. "What do you propose, Mr. Booker?" Adam's gaze shifted between father and daughter. "A counter-strategy. They've shown they'll fight dirty, so we need to be prepared." He turned to Serena. "I can offer you protection, resources, whatever you need, but this has to be your choice." Serena felt something shift inside her, fear and hurt transforming into determination. "I want justice, and I want those photos destroyed." "Then I have a suggestion," Adam said, his expression softening as he looked at her. "Come work with me at Sentinel. Officially, we'll announce you've accepted a position as our new security protocol developer. It gives you distance from Williams Tech, making your father's company a less obvious target. Meanwhile, we'll work together to build a case against the Reynolds family." "You want me to hide?" Serena asked, bristling at the suggestion. "No," Adam replied without hesitation. "I want you to fight from a position of strength. Your brilliance deserves a platform where it can't be exploited or threatened." There was something in his eyes as he spoke, admiration, respect, and something deeper that made her heart beat faster despite her resolve to keep emotional distance. James watched their exchange with a thoughtful expression. "The offer makes strategic sense, Serena. And from what I know of Sentinel's work, it would be a challenging position worthy of your talents." Serena weighed the proposal, studying Adam's face for any sign of deception. Despite everything, she found herself wanting to trust him, this man from her past, who had reappeared at her darkest moment with offers of help and protection. "If I do this," she said finally, "I need complete transparency from now on. No more hidden identities or partial truths." Adam nodded without hesitation. "You have my word." Something unspoken passed between them, a connection that transcended their current circumstances, hinting at possibilities Serena wasn't ready to acknowledge. "Then I accept," she said, extending her hand professionally. When Adam took it, his touch was warm and sure, sending an unexpected current up her arm that had nothing to do with business arrangements. For the first time since her wedding night, Serena felt something other than pain and anger, a dangerous flutter of hope that somehow, with this man's help, she might reclaim not just her dignity, but her future. Chapter 4. New Beginnings. The sleek glass headquarters of Sentinel Security Systems rose 40 stories above downtown, its reflective exterior gleaming in the morning sunlight as Serena approached the entrance. 2 weeks had passed since she'd accepted Adam's job offer. 2 weeks of frantic organization as she moved into a secure apartment building owned by Sentinel and prepared to start her new professional life. "Good morning, Ms. Williams." The security guard greeted her with a respectful nod. "Mr. Booker asked that you be escorted directly to his office upon arrival." Serena thanked him, clutching her leather portfolio as they rode the elevator to the top floor. Despite her outward composure, her stomach fluttered with nervous energy. This wasn't just a new job. It was a calculated move in a dangerous game with the Reynolds family. Adam's executive suite was surprisingly modest, functional and elegant rather than ostentatious. He stood when she entered, his face lighting up in a way that made her pulse quicken involuntarily. "Serena," he said warmly, coming around his desk, "welcome to Sentinel." "Thank you for this opportunity," she replied professionally, though she couldn't help noticing how his tailored shirt emphasized his broad shoulders. Since learning his true identity, she'd researched him thoroughly. The tech prodigy who had built Sentinel from nothing into a cybersecurity powerhouse valued at billions. Yet he remained intensely private, rarely appearing in press photos and never in the social pages. Adam gestured to the woman who had entered silently behind them. "This is Maya Chen, my chief operating officer, and the person who actually keeps Sentinel running." Maya, a sharp-eyed woman in her 40s with a sleek bob, offered a knowing smile. "He's not exaggerating. Adam's brilliant with code, but hopeless with scheduling." She extended her hand. "I've followed your work, Ms. Williams. Your adaptive security protocols are revolutionary." "Please call me Serena," she replied, surprised by the warm welcome. "And thank you. I'm eager to see how they might integrate with Sentinel's framework." "You'll have all the resources you need," Adam assured her. "Your official title is Director of Protocol Development, reporting directly to me, but the team thinks you've been hired to advance our consumer security division." Serena raised an eyebrow. "So they don't know the real reason I'm here. Only Maya and our head of security know the full situation," Adam confirmed. "The fewer people aware of our counter-operation against Reynolds Industries, the better." Maya checked her tablet. "Your team is assembled in Conference Room C for introductions. I'll take you down after you're settled." She excused herself, leaving Serena alone with Adam. "How are you really doing?" he asked, his professional demeanor softening into genuine concern. Serena appreciated that he didn't try to touch her, didn't offer empty physical comfort like so many might have. "I'm focused," she answered truthfully. "It's easier than dwelling on the humiliation." "What Marcus did reflects on him, not you," Adam said firmly. "Logically, I know that." Serena moved to the window, gazing at the city below. "But logic doesn't stop the nightmares, imagining those photos being seen by others, being used against my father." Adam joined her at the window, careful to maintain respectful distance. "We'll get them back," he promised. "In the meantime, I have something for you." He handed her a small device that resembled a stylish bracelet. "This has a panic button, GPS tracker, and communication link directly to security, just in case." The implication that she might need such protection was sobering. "Do you really think they'd try something physical?" "I think the Reynolds family doesn't like losing," Adam replied grimly. "And right now, you walking away from their scheme represents a significant loss." A knock at the door interrupted them. Maya returned with a tablet for Serena. Your security credentials, building access and project files. Your team is ready whenever you are. The next few hours passed in a whirlwind of introductions and technical discussions. To Serena's pleasant surprise, her new team was exceptional, brilliant. Programmers and security specialists who embraced her leadership without question. By lunchtime, she was deep in collaborative planning for enhancements to Sentinel's encryption protocols. "You've made quite an impression," Adam commented when he found her still working in the conference room late that afternoon. The rest of the team had departed, leaving half-empty coffee cups and diagrams scattered across digital displays. Serena looked up from her tablet, realizing with surprise that she'd been so absorbed in the work she'd lost track of time. They're incredibly talented. The quantum resistance approach Matthew suggested dovetails perfectly with my adaptive algorithms. Adam smiled, leaning against the doorframe. "I only hire the best." His expression grew more serious. "Are you ready for Phase 2? Phase 2. The reason she was really at Sentinel. Investigating Marcus and the Reynolds family's illicit activities, while developing a strategy to recover the compromising photos. Serena straightened, setting aside the technical work that had provided such welcome distraction. "As ready as I'll ever be." They relocated to a secure room where Maya and Gabriel Torres, Sentinel's head of security, a former military intelligence officer with keen eyes and a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, were waiting. "We've been monitoring Reynolds' communications," Gabriel began without preamble. "Your confrontation at Williams Tech rattled them. They've accelerated negotiations with Zhaotech in Shanghai, the company we believe is their actual client for your security protocols." "What exactly does Zhaotech want with my work?" Serena asked. Adam brought up documents on the main screen. "They provide communication services to certain government entities. Your adaptive protocols would allow them to create the ultimate surveillance system, outwardly secure, while providing backdoor access to whoever controls the master keys." The realization of how her innovation could be weaponized made Serena feel faintly ill. "And the photos?" Gabriel's expression hardened. "Marcus keeps them on a dedicated drive. We've identified where it's stored, but extraction will be challenging. We need to be certain the copies are secured before we move against them publicly," Maya added. "Otherwise, they could distribute them out of spite." The clinical discussion of such a personal violation made Serena's cheeks burn with humiliation and anger. Adam must have noticed, because he subtly redirected the conversation to strategic planning. Over the next 2 hours, they developed a multi-phase approach to building their case against Reynolds Industries while working to secure the compromising photos. By the time they finished, Serena felt simultaneously exhausted and energized, focused on a path forward rather than dwelling on betrayal. "You should head home," Adam suggested as they wrapped up. "First days are always draining." "Actually, I'd like to keep working on the integration specs for a while," Serena replied. "The technical work is stabilizing." Adam studied her with understanding. "I know what you mean. Code makes sense even when people don't." He hesitated. "But you need rest too. Let me at least order some dinner brought in." Something about his thoughtfulness, not pushing but supporting, made warmth spread through Serena's chest. "Thank you. That would be nice." They ended up sharing Thai food in Adam's office, technical diagrams spread between them as they brainstormed. Serena found herself relaxing as they fell into the familiar rhythm of collaborative problem-solving. This was comfortable territory, the elegant dance of algorithms and security protocols. "You know, I remembered something today," she said, setting down her chopsticks. "In 8th grade, you won the science fair with a primitive encryption program. You called it Secret Keeper." Adam looked surprised, then pleased that she remembered. It was terrible code. Just a basic substitution. Cipher with some flashy graphics, but the concept was sound, Serena insisted. You were thinking about digital privacy before most adults understood the internet. While you were already redesigning network architecture, he countered with a smile. Mrs. Hancock used to say you were the most brilliant student she'd ever taught. I remember when Jimmy Thompson deleted all your work the day before the fair, Serena said, the memory unexpectedly vivid. You stayed up all night rewriting it. Adam's eyes widened. I can't believe you remember that. You showed up with bloodshot eyes, but a working program, she continued. That was the first time I realized what real determination looked like. The shared memories created an unexpected intimacy between them, a connection that predated their current complicated circumstances. It's strange, Serena mused, to think our paths might have continued alongside each other if your family hadn't moved away. Something flickered in Adam's eyes, a shadow of old pain. My mother didn't have much choice after my father left. The tech job in Seattle paid twice what she could make here. This was new information, a piece of his past Serena hadn't known. That must have been difficult. It was, he acknowledged quietly, but it taught me self-reliance. And apparently, he added with a small smile, it didn't stop us from finding each other again. The comment, simple but laden with meaning, hung in the air between them. For a moment, their eyes held, a shared recognition that perhaps their reconnection wasn't entirely coincidental. When she finally gathered her things to leave, exhaustion catching up with her, Adam walked her to the private elevator. You're secure. Apartment is stocked with everything you should need, he said, but if there's anything missing, just let the building concierge know. Adam, Serena said quietly as the elevator arrived. Why are you doing all this? The truth this time. He held her gaze, something vulnerable crossing his normally composed features. Because 18 years ago, I watched the strongest, smartest, most beautiful girl I knew stand up in front of our entire class and defend her science project when Mr. Crawford tried to suggest her father must have helped her build it. The memory hit Serena with surprising force. The insult from the teacher, the fury and hurt it had caused. You told him that you'd written every line of code yourself, Adam continued softly, and then proceeded to explain your algorithm so brilliantly that even he couldn't doubt you anymore. His smile was tinged with admiration. I decided that day that I wanted to be as brave as you. I failed, of course, ran away from too many things in my life, but I never forgot that moment. The elevator doors opened, but Serena didn't move, struck by the sincerity in his confession, the fact that someone hurt you. Adam said, his voice low and intense. Someone used you as a pawn in their game. I can't let that stand. Not when I have the means to help. Before she could respond, his professional demeanor reasserted itself. Get some rest, Serena. Tomorrow, we start building our case in earnest. As the elevator carried her downward, Serena found herself touching the secure bracelet on her wrist, her mind filled not with thoughts of revenge or fear, but with the unexpected warmth of connection to a man who had carried the memory of her strength for nearly 2 decades. Chapter 5. Falling Slowly. 3 months passed in a blur of productivity and purpose. Serena thrived at Sentinel, her innovative approaches to security protocols impressing even the most seasoned developers on her team. What had begun as a strategic move against the Reynolds family had evolved into a genuinely fulfilling professional endeavor. The October morning dawned crisp and clear as Serena strode through Sentinel's executive floor, nodding to colleagues who now greeted her with respect bordering on admiration. Her integration of quantum-resistant encryption with adaptive security protocols had attracted attention throughout the industry, generating whispers that Sentinel was about to revolutionize digital security. The Shanghai conference organizers called again, Maya informed her as Serena passed her office. They're offering keynote status if you'll present the theoretical framework. Serena paused, conflicted. The International Security Summit was the industry's most prestigious event, and a keynote would cement her professional reputation independent of her work at Williams Tech. But Shanghai was also home to Zhaotech, the company that the Reynolds family was illegally partnering with. "Have you discussed it with Adam?" she asked. Maya's knowing smile suggested she understood the subtext. Over the past months, Serena and Adam had developed a working relationship that often blurred professional boundaries. Late-night strategy, sessions, shared meals over technical discussions, and a growing ease that sometimes felt like something deeper. "He said it's your decision," Maya replied, "but Gabriel is concerned about security risks if you travel to China." Before Serena could respond, her secure phone buzzed with a message from Adam. "My office, when you have a moment. Breakthrough. On Project R, their code for the Reynolds investigation." Heart-quickening, Serena made her way to Adam's office, where she found him with Gabriel, both men studying data on multiple screens. "What happened?" she asked, closing the door behind her. Gabriel's normally stoic expression held a hint of satisfaction. "We've located the server farm Reynolds Industries uses for their off-books communications with sanctioned countries. And..." He paused for effect. "We've confirmed it contains Marcus's personal encrypted drives." Serena's pulse jumped. "Including the photos?" "Almost certainly," Adam answered, turning toward her with eyes bright with triumph. "This is the missing piece we needed." Over the months, they had compiled extensive evidence of the Reynolds family's illegal technology transfers and financial improprieties. But they still needed to secure the compromising photos before moving against them publicly. "We need to access that server farm," Gabriel continued. "It's in a Reynolds subsidiary's data center in Denver. Security is tight, but not impossible." "When do we move?" Serena asked, already mentally preparing for the confrontation she'd been anticipating for months. Adam and Gabriel exchanged glances. "That's the complicated part," Adam admitted. "The annual Reynolds Industries security audit begins next week. For 3 days, their entire network will be under exceptional scrutiny, with additional guards and monitoring. After that, there's a maintenance window where security protocols will be briefly suspended for system updates," Gabriel added. "That's our window, but it's 2 weeks from now." 2 weeks, Serena repeated, trying to mask her disappointment. At the delay, Adam studied her expression. "Actually, this timing works in our favor. The Denver Technology Summit is happening next week, and we've been invited to present Sentinel's new security framework." "You want us to attend a conference while we wait for our window of opportunity," Serena surmised. "It maintains our cover." "As focused solely on legitimate business," Gabriel confirmed. "Plus Denver puts us in position to move quickly when the maintenance window opens. And," Adam added with a hint of hesitation, "it gets us both out of New York, away from any watching eyes while we finalize our strategy." The plan made tactical sense, yet something in Adam's tone suggested there was more to his thinking. Before Serena could question him further, Maya entered with urgent news. Reynolds Industries just announced a major partnership with Global Finance Solutions, she reported, handing Adam a tablet with the press release. "They're positioning it as revolutionary secure banking technology." Adam's expression darkened as he read. "This is based on Serena's protocols. They've modified the architecture, but the core concepts are unmistakable." Serena took the tablet, anger flaring as she recognized elements of her work repurposed without permission. "They're moving faster than we anticipated." "The timing of this announcement right before the Denver summit isn't coincidental," Gabriel observed. "They're trying to establish public claim to the technology before we can challenge them." Adam's jaw tightened with rarely displayed anger. "Book us on tomorrow's flight to Denver. We need to be ahead of this." As Gabriel and Maya left to make arrangements, Adam turned to Serena, his professional demeanor softening. "I'm sorry. I know. Seeing your work stolen and perverted like this must be infuriating." "It's not just anger," Serena admitted. "It's the violation. First my personal life, now my professional work." She shook her head. "Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever feel fully in control again." Without thinking, Adam reached for her hand, a gesture of comfort that sent unexpected warmth through her despite the circumstances. "We'll get it all back, your work, your privacy, everything they took." His touch lingered a moment longer than strictly necessary, his dark eyes holding hers, with an intensity that made her breath catch. The air between them seemed to charge with unspoken possibilities, a tension that had been building incrementally over their months of close collaboration. Adam broke the connection first, clearing his throat as he stepped back. "We should prepare. For Denver, the summit will be high profile, and the Reynolds contingent will certainly be watching." "Let them watch," Serena replied with newfound determination. "I'm done hiding from them." The Denver Technology Summit was hosted in a luxury mountain resort an hour outside the city, a stunning complex of modern architecture nestled among snow-dusted pines. Their connecting suites offered breathtaking views of the Rockies, though Serena had little time to appreciate the scenery as they prepared for their presentation. "Reynolds Industries representatives just checked in," Adam informed her as they reviewed their slides in his suite's living room. "Including Marcus." Serena's hands stilled on her tablet. "Marcus is here, not just his father. Apparently he's heading their financial technology division now." Adam studied her reaction carefully. "We can modify our schedule to avoid direct contact." "No," Serena said firmly. "I won't rearrange my professional life to accommodate him. Besides," she added with a hint of steel, "I want him to see me thriving without him." Adam's smile held admiration. "You continue to amaze me," he said softly, then quickly refocused on their presentation. They worked late into the evening, refining their demonstration of Sentinel's new security framework, deliberately structured to highlight Serena's original work without explicitly calling attention to how Reynolds Industries had appropriated it. "I think we're as prepared as we can be," Adam finally said, closing his laptop. "We should try to get some rest." Serena nodded, though anxiety about facing Marcus had her too wired for sleep. She stood to return to her suite, but hesitated at the door. "Adam, would you mind if we just talked for a while? About something other than work or revenge or stolen photos?" The request seemed to catch him off guard, but his expression quickly softened. "I'd like that." They ended up on the suite's balcony despite the cold, wrapped in the resort's plush blankets as they gazed at stars brilliantly visible in the mountain sky. Their conversation meandered from childhood memories to favorite books, deliberately, avoiding the complicated present in favor of simpler connections. "Did you ever wonder what happened to Mrs. Hancock?" Serena asked, her breath visible in the chilly air. Adam chuckled. "I looked her up a few years ago, actually. She retired to Florida, still mentoring gifted students in mathematics." "Of course. You checked." Serena smiled, oddly touched. "You always were thorough. Unlike you, who rushed headlong into every challenge," Adam countered with affectionate teasing. "Remember when you debugged the entire school network after that virus attack? Principal Davis wanted to suspend you for unauthorized access, until you explained how you'd actually improved their security." Serena laughed at the memory. "I was so terrified. I was going to be expelled. My father would have been devastated." "He was always so proud of you," Adam said. "Still is, from what I can tell." "He likes you, you know," Serena admitted. "Says you're one of the few people who understands what I'm capable of without feeling threatened by it." Adam's gaze was steady. "In the moonlight, your brilliance isn't threatening, it's inspiring." The simple sincerity of the compliment warmed Serena more than the blanket wrapped around her shoulders. In that moment, with mountains silhouetted against the night sky and the comfortable silence between them, she allowed herself to acknowledge what she'd been feeling over the past months. She was falling for Adam Booker. The realization should have terrified her after Marcus's betrayal, but somehow it felt inevitable, a gradual, natural progression born of shared purpose and genuine understanding. Adam had seen her at her most vulnerable and never once used it against her or treated her as damaged. Instead, he'd consistently valued her strength, her intelligence, her resilience. The night air suddenly felt charged with possibility as Adam turned to face her, something unspoken in his expression. "Serena, he began, then stopped as fat snowflakes began drifting down around them. A snow shower, unexpected and magical, breaking the moment. Serena tilted her face upward, letting flakes melt against her warm skin. "It's beautiful," she murmured. When she looked back at Adam, he was watching her with such intensity it made her breath catch. For a heartbeat, she thought he might bridge the distance between them, thought she might welcome it if he did. Instead, he gently brushed a snowflake from her cheek, his touch light, but sending electricity through her, nonetheless. "We should go inside," he said, his voice rougher than usual. "It's getting colder." The moment passed, yet something had shifted between them, an acknowledgement of possibilities neither was quite ready to pursue. As they gathered their things to move indoors, a message pinged on both their phones simultaneously. Gabriel had sent an urgent alert. Reynolds' announcement scheduled for tomorrow morning before Sentinel presentation. Sources suggest major reveal of proprietary security architecture. Adam's expression hardened as he read. "They're moving up their timeline. They must have learned we're close to exposing them," Serena surmised, professional focus reasserting itself despite the lingering awareness of their almost moment. "Then we adjust our strategy accordingly," Adam replied, determination replacing the warmth in his eyes. "If they're accelerating, so are we." As they moved inside to develop their counter-approach, Serena found herself caught between two powerful currents: the building momentum of their campaign against the Reynolds family and the undeniable pull toward the man who had become far more than just her ally in seeking justice. Tomorrow would bring confrontation with Marcus and the public battle over her stolen work. But tonight had brought its own revelation, that despite her best efforts to guard her heart after betrayal, she was falling slowly but inevitably for Adam Booker, and the prospect terrified and exhilarated her in equal measure. Chapter 6. The Masquerade, the Denver Technology Summit's main hall, buzzed with anticipation. Tech executives and journalists filled the seats, drawn by Reynolds Industries' announcement of a revolutionary security infrastructure. Serena sat rigidly beside Adam, her elegant burgundy dress projecting confidence she didn't entirely feel. "Ready," Adam murmured, his shoulder warm against hers. "As I'll ever be," she replied, maintaining a neutral expression. Harold Reynolds took the stage with practiced charisma, Marcus following in a tailored suit. His jaw tightened slightly when he spotted Serena in the audience. "Today, Reynolds Industries proudly introduces SecureGate," Harold announced to enthusiastic applause, "a comprehensive security architecture revolutionizing financial data protection." As they detailed the system, Serena's anger grew. They had taken her adaptive protocols exactly as Adam had warned, creating backdoor access while maintaining the illusion of security. "The core innovation," Marcus explained smoothly, "is the adaptive response algorithm that identifies threats while maintaining system operations." "My algorithm," Serena whispered, her nails digging into her palm. Adam's hand covered hers briefly. "Wait, our turn is coming." After the Reynolds presentation, Harold and Marcus deliberately passed by Serena and Adam. "Ms. Williams," Harold acknowledged with a thin smile. "What a surprise. Enjoying the conference?" "Immensely," Serena replied coolly. "Particularly the creative reinterpretation of familiar work." Marcus looked uncomfortable. "Serena, Mr. Reynolds," she interrupted. Congratulations on your new position. Family connections are so valuable in building a career, aren't they? The barb hit its mark. Marcus's gaze flicked to Adam. Mr. Booker, I didn't realize Sentinel had hired Ms. Williams. Director Williams oversees our protocol development, Adam replied evenly. Her contributions have been transformative. Harold assessed the dynamic between them before moving away with his son. Serena and Adam's presentation systematically demonstrated Sentinel's security framework, highlighting the original research without directly accusing Reynolds of theft. The distinction, Serena explained to the rapt audience, is that our approach prioritizes true security over surveillance capabilities. No backdoors, no compromise. The audience clearly understood the implication, particularly the technical specialists, who recognized the architectural differences. By the time they left the stage, Reynolds Industries' earlier triumph had been effectively undermined. Gabriel confirmed his team is in position, Adam reported as they retreated to a quiet corner. He needs final authorization before proceeding. Serena nodded, the weight of the decision settling on her shoulders. Let's do it. The masquerade gala transformed the resort's grand ballroom into a scene of elegant mystery. Serena wore midnight blue, her silver filigree mask embedded with tiny sapphires. Adam looked striking in his tuxedo and obsidian mask. You look breathtaking, he said quietly when they met. Thank you, she replied, momentarily breathless. Have you heard from Gabriel? Everything's proceeding according to plan. His team accessed the resort's security network during the keynotes. They circulated among industry leaders, aware that Marcus's eyes followed Serena whenever she came into view. Your ex-husband can't seem to take his eyes off you, Adam observed, his tone carefully neutral as they danced. Let him look, Serena replied, surprisingly unbothered. He gave up any right to more than that. Gabriel needs a distraction near the east entrance. Security is more vigilant than expected. Serena smiled slowly. I have an idea. Follow my lead. She orchestrated a carefully timed stumble that sent her directly into Marcus's path. Oh, she exclaimed as he steadied her. I'm sorry. These heels are treacherous. Marcus held her elbow longer than necessary. Serena, I've been hoping to speak with you privately. Adam appeared protectively. Everything all right? Fine, Serena assured him. Actually, Mr. Reynolds wanted a word. Would you mind getting me another drink? As Adam moved toward the bar and the security station near the east entrance, Marcus guided Serena to a quieter area. I've been watching you with Booker, he said without preamble. You've grown close. Is that why you wanted to speak, to comment on my professional relationships? We both know it's more than professional, Marcus countered. I recognize the signs, the way you recognize them with me, Serena challenged. Before you left me on our wedding night, Marcus flinched. That's what I wanted to explain. It wasn't entirely my choice. Save the excuses. Nothing could justify what you did. Not even your father's safety? Marcus's voice dropped. Serena, there's more happening than you understand. My father, is that him calling now? Serena interrupted, nodding toward Harold, who was gesturing for Marcus. As Marcus left, Serena realized their confrontation had accomplished its purpose, drawing security attention, while Adam slipped something to Gabriel's associate near the bar. Mission accomplished, Adam murmured when she rejoined him. Gabriel's team has access to the security grid now. He studied her expression. What did Marcus say to upset you? Nothing important, Serena lied, unwilling to voice her new uncertainties, just trying to justify his actions. Later, Serena overheard fragments of conversation about Sentinel's mysterious founder. Booker built that company from nothing, one executive said. Started in his garage, and now he's competing with tech giants. The question is where he got his initial funding, his companion replied. Nobody goes from garage startup to billion-dollar security firm without serious backing. Near 11, Adam suggested they take some air. The night was cold but clear. stars brilliant above the mountain landscape. "You've been quiet," Adam observed. "Having second thoughts?" Serena turned to face him. "Should I be?" Something in her tone made him tense. "What did Marcus say to you?" "He suggested I don't know everything about you," she admitted. "And I've been realizing that's true." Adam removed his mask, wanting her to see his full expression. "What do you want to know? How did you really build Sentinel? Everyone says you appeared out of nowhere with advanced technology and major funding. You want the truth?" "Yes, I had help. After college, I developed security algorithms that attracted attention from government agencies. They provided initial funding." His voice dropped. "But I've spent the past decade ensuring Sentinel remains independent." "Why keep that secret?" "Because associates of the Reynolds family were involved in the beginning, when I refused to allow my technology to be modified for surveillance purposes, the very thing they're trying to do with your protocols." Those relationships soured. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed with Gabriel's signal. "East Wing clear. Operation proceeding. Return to Gala for visibility." As they returned to the ballroom, Serena excused herself briefly. In the ladies' room, she overheard two women gossiping. "I heard Booker's been obsessed with her for years. Stockman from Cyber Solutions told me Booker specifically recruited her after that disastrous wedding. Said he'd been following her career since college." Serena froze. Following her career since college? That went beyond their childhood connection or professional interest. When she returned, Gabriel's urgent message arrived: "Security breach detected. Evacuate immediately." As alarms blared, Serena spotted Marcus watching them from across the room. When their eyes met, he gave an almost imperceptible nod toward a side door. Offering help? Adam pulled her in the opposite direction. "This way. I know another route." They hurried to the resort's helicopter pad, where Gabriel waited with the Sentinel corporate helicopter. "What happened?" Adam demanded as they boarded. "They detected our access attempts," Gabriel explained. "We got what we needed, but they know someone was in their system." As the helicopter lifted off, Serena couldn't shake the feeling that she was fleeing not just Reynolds' security, but uncomfortable truths about the man beside her. Truths that might change everything between them. Chapter 7. Shadows from the past. The Sentinel corporate jet touched down at a private airfield outside New York just after dawn. Serena had barely spoken during the flight, her mind whirling with questions about Adam's past and his true intentions. "We should head straight to the office," Adam suggested as they descended the jet stairs. "Gabriel's team is analyzing the data from the Reynolds server. I need to check on my father first," Serena replied, remembering Marcus's cryptic warning. "I'll meet you at Sentinel afterward." Adam hesitated. "Serena, about last night." "Not now," she interrupted. "Let's focus on the data." James Williams was surprised but pleased by his daughter's early morning visit. "I wasn't expecting you back from Denver until tomorrow," he said, embracing her. "Dad, has anyone from Reynolds Industries contacted you recently? Any unusual threats or offers?" Her father's brow furrowed. "Nothing direct, though their legal team sent notice last week claiming patent infringement on some of our older security protocols." He studied her. "What's going on, Serena?" "Marcus suggested you might be in danger. Something about your safety being the reason. He left on our wedding night." James's expression darkened. "That's absurd. The boy's looking for excuses." Before Serena could press further, her secure phone buzzed with an urgent message from Maya. Reynolds' press conference announced for noon. Topic: security breach and corporate espionage allegations against Sentinel. Adam needs you at HQ immediately. Sentinel's executive floor was in crisis mode when Serena arrived. Screens displayed news channels waiting for the Reynolds Industries press conference, while Maya coordinated response teams. What exactly are they planning to announce? Serena asked Adam. They're claiming we hacked their servers during the summit, Gabriel explained. They have security footage of our operatives accessing their systems. How? Your team's too careful for that. Someone tipped them off, Adam said grimly. They were waiting for us. What about the compromising photos? Serena asked. Did we secure them? Gabriel hesitated. We located the encrypted drive, but extraction was only partially successful. We recovered file fragments, not complete images. Serena felt sick. So Marcus still has them. For now, Adam assured her. But we also found communications that prove Reynolds Industries has been selling modified security technology to sanctioned countries. As they debated strategy, a commotion in the outer office drew their attention. To Serena's shock, Marcus Reynolds stood in the doorway, flanked by Sentinel security officers. He insisted on speaking with you, a guard explained to Adam. Adam's expression hardened. What are you doing here, Reynolds? Marcus ignored him, focusing on Serena. I need to speak with you, privately. Anything you have to say can be said in front of my colleagues, Serena replied coldly. Fine. My father is about to publicly accuse Sentinel of corporate espionage. He has footage of your operatives, and he plans to release those photos of you as evidence of a personal vendetta. The blunt statement sent a wave of nausea through Serena. He wouldn't dare. He would, Marcus countered, unless I can convince him otherwise in the next hour. Why would you help me? Serena demanded. You took those photos. You left me on our wedding night because I never wanted to hurt you. He glanced at Adam. Unlike some, I'm willing to admit when I've been part of something wrong. Adam stepped forward. What exactly are you implying? Ask him about Project Genesis, Marcus said to Serena. Ask him why he really founded Sentinel and why he's really targeting my family. The room fell silent. Serena noticed Adam's expression. Not outrage or confusion, but a carefully controlled alarm. What is Project Genesis? She asked. Adam hesitated. It's classified government work from a decade ago. Nothing relevant to our current situation. It's everything relevant, Marcus insisted. Tell her how your security company was built on stolen technology, my family's technology. Tell her how your obsession with revenge has been driving this from the beginning. That's enough, Adam snapped. Security, escort Mr. Reynolds out. Wait, Serena commanded. I want to hear what he has to say. Marcus held out a small drive. This contains the original photos and all copies. It also contains documentation about Project Genesis and Adam Booker's real history with Reynolds Industries. And your price for this generosity? Adam asked tightly. Convince your father to withdraw Sentinel's pending lawsuit against Williams Tech, Serena guessed. That's why you came to me, isn't it? Marcus nodded. The lawsuit is baseless, designed to bankrupt Williams Tech and force your father to sell. We've filed no lawsuit against Williams Tech, Adam stated, confused. Check again, Marcus replied. The paperwork was filed yesterday under Sentinel's subsidiary, Aegis Holdings. Serena felt as though the floor had dropped beneath her. Is this true? She demanded, turning to Maya. Maya's expression confirmed it. Aegis did file legal action, but it wasn't authorized through normal channels. We're investigating. I want that lawsuit withdrawn, Adam ordered immediately. It may be too late, Marcus said. My father's already leveraging it to pressure your board. He's offering them a partnership if they remove you as CEO. Why are you really here, Marcus? Adam demanded. Believe it or not, I'm trying to make amends, Marcus replied, looking at Serena. What I did was unforgivable, but letting my father use those photos would be worse. If I help convince my father to negotiate on the lawsuit, you'll give me the photos and stop the press conference, Serena asked. Yes, Marcus confirmed. You have my word. Your word means nothing, Adam interjected. This is clearly a setup. Serena felt caught between impossible choices. Trust the man who had abandoned her, or the man who might have been deceiving her in different ways. "I need to see what's on that drive," she decided, extending her hand. Marcus placed it in her palm. "The password is the name of your childhood dog." In Maya's office, Serena inserted the drive into a standalone computer. She typed Pepper, her childhood Labrador's name, and the drive unlocked to reveal 2 folders, Photos and Genesis. She opened the Photos folder first, confronting the images that had haunted her for months. With trembling fingers, she deleted them permanently. Then she opened the Genesis folder. What she found made her blood run cold. Project Genesis had been a classified government initiative, a partnership between Reynolds Industries and Adam Booker. The project's goal had been to develop undetectable backdoor access to encryption systems. When the Reynolds team had pushed to sell the technology to non-government entities, Adam had allegedly stolen key components and disappeared, resurfacing later as the founder of Sentinel Security. According to the documentation, Adam's crusade against Reynolds Industries was personal revenge against the family that had tried to have him arrested. More disturbing were reports suggesting Adam had been monitoring Serena for years, long before Marcus entered her life. The final document was a security assessment of Williams Tech that highlighted vulnerabilities Sentinel was now exploiting. Through the Aegis lawsuit, Serena's hands shook as she closed the files. If this was true, then Adam had been manipulating her from the beginning, using her pain and humiliation to advance his vendetta against the Reynolds family. The thought made her physically ill. Had she simply traded one manipulator for another, more sophisticated one? When she emerged from Maya's office, she found Marcus waiting in the reception area. "I've deleted the photos," Serena informed him, "and I've read about Project Genesis." "Then you understand what you're dealing with," Marcus said. "I understand that both you and Adam have used me in your corporate war," Serena replied coldly. "The difference is, you admitted it." "I regret what I did to you every day," Marcus said quietly, a surprising vulnerability in his voice. "Not just because it was wrong, but because what we had, it wasn't all fake, Serena. Not for me." Before she could process this unexpected confession, Adam appeared in the doorway. "The lawsuit against Williams Tech has been withdrawn," he announced. "I've personally signed the paperwork." Marcus looked surprised. "That was unexpectedly efficient. Unlike some people, I keep my promises to Serena," Adam said pointedly. The tension between the men was palpable. Years of corporate rivalry, now complicated by their connections to Serena. She stepped between them, unwilling to be a prize in their power struggle. "You'll call off the press conference?" she asked Marcus. "I'll do what I can," he promised. "But my father may proceed regardless." As he departed, he offered a final warning. "Serena, be careful who you trust. Some obsessions run deeper than you realize." Left alone with Adam, Serena said simply, "We need to talk." Adam nodded, his expression guarded but resigned. "Yes, we do." The weight of Project Genesis hung between them like a physical barrier. Whatever trust had been building between them over the past months now stood on precarious ground, undermined by revelations that called into question everything Serena had come to believe about Adam's motives. "Not here," she decided, needing neutral ground for this conversation. "Somewhere private." As they walked toward his office, Serena felt the weight of decisions pressing down on her. The photos were gone, but the damage to her trust might be irreparable. Chapter 8. Painful choice. Adam's office felt smaller than usual as Serena faced him across his desk. The floor-to-ceiling windows that normally offered panoramic views of the city now only reflected their tense expressions as evening descended. "The files Marcus gave you," Adam began, his voice carefully controlled. "I should explain." "Yes, you should," Serena agreed, maintaining a professional distance despite the storm of emotions beneath her surface. Project Genesis, your history, with Reynolds Industries, the surveillance of me for years. Which should we address first? Adam ran a hand through his dark hair, a rare gesture of discomfort from a man usually so composed. Project Genesis was real. I was recruited straight out of MIT to work on encryption technology with government applications. Reynolds Industries was the primary contractor, and you stole their work, Serena stated flatly. No, Adam countered firmly. I prevented them from selling intrusion technology to foreign entities. Harold Reynolds wanted to monetize what was meant to be classified security infrastructure. When I objected, I became a liability. So you took the technology and built Sentinel with it? Adam's jaw tightened. I took my own work and built something better, security without backdoors or compromise. Harold never forgave me for it. Serena studied him, searching for deception and finding instead what appeared to be sincere conviction. And your interest in me? The reports showed you monitoring my career for years. A flush rose on Adam's cheekbones. That's not entirely accurate. Yes, I kept track of your professional achievements. You had surveillance on me, Serena interrupted sharply. I had security alerts set up regarding your innovations, Adam corrected. Your work in adaptive protocols was revolutionary. When you became involved with Marcus, I was concerned. Concerned enough to appear conveniently after my wedding fell apart? Serena challenged. Was I just another way to get back at the Reynolds? A family? Pain flashed across Adam's features. Is that what you think? That I've spent months building a relationship with you as some elaborate revenge plot? The raw emotion in his voice gave Serena pause. Before she could respond, her phone chimed with an incoming call from her father. Excusing herself, she stepped away to answer. Dad, everything okay? Serena. Her father's voice sounded strained. I need you to come home. Now. What's wrong? Alarm shot through her. Just come, please, and... He hesitated. Don't bring Adam. The call disconnected before she could ask more questions. Turning back to Adam, she found him watching her with concern. I have to go, she said. My father needs me. Adam nodded, respecting her priorities despite their unfinished conversation. We'll continue this later. But Serena, whatever you believe about my past, please know that my feelings for you have always been genuine. The simple sincerity in his voice struck her more powerfully than any elaborate explanation could have. With emotions too complicated to untangle in the moment, Serena left, the weight of unresolved questions heavy on her shoulders. Serena found her father in his home office, looking unusually pale. On his desk sat an open laptop displaying financial data for Williams Tech. Sentinel withdrew their lawsuit, he said without preamble. But the damage is already done. Our stock dropped 15% on the news, and 3 major clients have put their contracts on hold pending resolution. We'll fix this, Serena assured him, though uncertainty gnawed at her. Adam has promised to issue a formal statement clarifying the situation. Her father's expression hardened. Adam Booker is the last person I trust right now, especially after this arrived. He handed her a thick envelope. Inside, Serena found photographs, not of herself, but of Adam meeting with known competitors of Williams Tech over the past year. The final image showed Adam with her father's former business partner, a man who had tried to force James out of his own company years ago. Where did these come from, she asked, though she already suspected the answer. Harold Reynolds sent them personally, her father confirmed, along with documentation showing Sentinel has been systematically acquiring companies that use Williams Tech security protocols. The strategy was now painfully clear. Sentinel had been positioning to absorb Williams Tech's client base while simultaneously driving down the company's value through the lawsuit. Dad, I don't think Adam knew about this, Serena said, though. Doubt colored her voice. The lawsuit was filed through a subsidiary without proper authorization. You really believe that? Her father asked gently. Or do you want to believe it because you've developed feelings for him? The question cut close to the bone. Had she been blinded by her growing attraction to Adam, missing signs that should have been obvious? Before she could formulate a response, a wave of nausea swept over her so suddenly she had to grip the edge of the desk for support. Serena, her father's concern was immediate. Are you all right? Just tired, she managed, though this was the third morning this week she'd experienced. Similar symptoms. A cold realization dawned on her. With everything happening, she hadn't been tracking her cycle. Her father insisted she rest, offering to make dinner while she recovered. Alone in her childhood bedroom, Serena faced the possibility she'd been avoiding acknowledging. After a quick calculation, she confirmed her suspicion. She was over 2 weeks late, the night she'd spent with Adam during the snowstorm in Denver. They had been careful, but no method was foolproof. The potential reality of pregnancy hit her with dizzying force. A child, Adam's child, would bind her permanently to a man whose trustworthiness she now questioned. Yet even as doubt clouded her rational mind, her heart reacted with unexpected warmth to the possibility of new life. Her phone buzzed with a message from Adam. Please let me know you're safe. We need to finish our conversation. Serena set the phone aside without responding, needing space to process the multiple crises converging in her life. Her father's company was under threat. Her trust in Adam had been severely compromised, and now this potential pregnancy added another layer of complexity to an already impossible situation. After dinner with her father, during which she carefully avoided discussing her suspicions about her condition, Serena made a decision. She would need clarity on all fronts before determining her next steps. The following morning, she visited her doctor under the guise of a routine checkup. The blood test confirmed what she already suspected. She was approximately 8 weeks, pregnant. Everything looks normal, her doctor assured her. Though your blood pressure is elevated, are you under unusual stress? Serena managed a wry smile. You could say that. With medical confirmation of her pregnancy, Serena faced her most difficult decision yet. Should she tell Adam immediately? Wait until she had decided how to proceed with their relationship? The man she had come to care for deeply was now shrouded in suspicion, yet he was undeniably the father of her child. Returning to her apartment to gather her thoughts, Serena found Marcus Reynolds waiting in the lobby. Her immediate instinct was suspicion. "Before you call security," he said quickly, holding up his hands, "I came to warn you. My father is moving forward with the press conference tomorrow, with or without my support." "I thought you were going to stop him," Serena accused. "I tried," Marcus replied, genuine regret in his expression. "But he's determined to destroy both Sentinel and Williams Tech. The photos of you were just leverage. His real target has always been Adam." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because contrary to what you might believe, I did care for you, Serena." Marcus's expression softened. "What I did was unforgivable, but I'm trying to make it right." Serena studied him, weighing his sincerity against his past betrayal. "What does your father have planned?" "He's going to expose Project Genesis publicly, painting Adam as a thief who built Sentinel on stolen technology. Then he'll announce a partnership with 3 of Williams Tech's biggest clients, effectively gutting your father's business. The comprehensive attack would devastate both Adam and her father simultaneously. Despite her own doubts about Adam, Serena couldn't stand by and watch this destruction. "Thank you for the warning," she said finally. Marcus nodded, turning to leave before hesitating. "Serena, I know you have feelings for Booker, but be careful. His obsession with destroying my family has consumed him for years. Don't let yourself become collateral damage." After he left, Serena sat in her apartment, one hand unconsciously resting on her still flat abdomen. The child growing within her deserved better than to be born into a war between corporate titans. Yet the thought of walking away from Adam, of raising their child without him, created an ache she hadn't anticipated. Her phone had accumulated a dozen missed calls from Adam over the past day. Finally, she texted him, "Meeting with Reynolds Sr. scheduled for tomorrow. We need to be prepared." His response was immediate. "Where are you? I've been worried." The genuine concern in his simple message touched her despite her reservations. "At my apartment. Need some time to think." "Can I come see you?" "There's more to explain about Genesis." Serena hesitated, then made her decision. "Not tonight. I'll be at Sentinel first thing tomorrow." "We'll talk then." She needed this night alone to decide how to handle the revelation of her pregnancy. The child complicated everything, creating a permanence to her connection with Adam that transcended corporate intrigue or past betrayals. She prepared for bed, exhaustion from the day's emotional roller coaster settling into her bones. Serena's phone chimed with one final message from Adam. "Whatever you're thinking, whatever doubts Marcus planted, please remember this. My feelings for you have been the most honest part of my life in years. I'll prove that to you tomorrow." The simple declaration brought unexpected tears to her eyes. Despite everything, despite the reasonable doubts and damning evidence, her heart still responded to him with a longing she couldn't easily dismiss. Tomorrow would bring confrontation and difficult revelations. But tonight, Serena allowed herself to imagine just briefly a future where the complications fell away, where the child growing inside her would know both parents in a relationship built on truth rather than strategic advantage. It was a dream, but as she drifted into uneasy sleep, Serena knew that reality would demand painful choices come morning, choices that would forever alter not just her life, but now the life of her unborn child as well. Chapter 9. Truth and Consequences. Sentinels. Headquarters buzzed with tense energy as Serena arrived the next morning. News vans lined the street outside, evidence that Harold Reynolds' press conference had attracted significant media attention. Security guards escorted her through a side entrance to avoid the gathering reporters. Maya met her in the lobby, tablet in hand and concern evident on her face. "Adam's waiting in the crisis room with legal. Reynolds Industries has already issued a statement claiming they'll provide evidence of systematic intellectual property theft by Sentinel." Serena nodded, maintaining professional composure despite the tumult of her personal emotions. "What's our counter-strategy?" "Adam wants to discuss that with you directly," Maya replied, studying her with perceptive eyes. "Are you okay? You look pale." "Just tired," Serena assured her, consciously avoiding any gesture toward her abdomen where her secret grew. "It's been an intense few days." The crisis room fell silent when she entered. Adam stood immediately, relief washing over his features. Dark circles under his eyes suggested he hadn't slept. "Serena," he said, her name emerging like a prayer. "Thank you for coming." She acknowledged him with a nod, taking a seat at the conference table. "What are we facing?" Gabriel activated the main screen, displaying a timeline of Reynolds Industries' planned announcements. "Harold Reynolds has scheduled a press conference at noon. Based on our intelligence, he plans to release documentation about Project Genesis, implanting Sentinel as built on stolen technology. Is it true?" Serena asked bluntly, looking directly at Adam. "Did you take their technology to start Sentinel?" The room's tension thickened as everyone awaited his answer. Adam met her gaze unflinchingly. "No," he said firmly. "What I developed at Project Genesis was my own work. When I discovered Reynolds planned to sell it to unauthorized foreign entities, I left, with only my personal research. What I couldn't take, I destroyed to prevent misuse. So you did destroy their property, Serena pressed. I destroyed dangerous tools that would have compromised national security, Adam corrected. Reynolds has spent a decade trying to frame it as theft. But the reality is, I prevented a serious breach of classified technology. Legal counsel interjected with strategic recommendations, but Serena found it difficult to focus as another wave of nausea swept through her. The pregnancy symptoms were becoming harder to disguise. She excused herself briefly, returning after splashing cold water on her face in the restroom. When she re-entered, Adam was alone in the crisis room, the others having departed to implement initial response strategies. We need to talk privately, he said without preamble, about everything. Genesis, the surveillance, your father's company. No more half-truths or strategic omissions. Serena hesitated, then nodded. I'm listening. Adam's professional facade softened, revealing the vulnerability beneath. I did monitor your career after we reconnected at the conference in Silicon Valley 4 years ago, not through surveillance, but by following your publications and patent filings. Your work was brilliant. I wanted to offer you a position at Sentinel even then. Why didn't you? Serena asked. Because I didn't want to drag you into my conflict with Reynolds Industries, Adam admitted. I knew they were watching me, looking for weaknesses. Anyone close to me became a potential target. Yet when Marcus abandoned me, you appeared immediately. Serena observed, her tone neutral but questioning. Adam's expression tightened. When I heard what happened, I was furious on your behalf. But yes, I also recognized an opportunity, both to help you and to finally gather evidence against the Reynolds family. The honesty, however belated, was refreshing. And my father's company, the lawsuit filed by your subsidiary? That was done without my knowledge or approval, Adam insisted. I've spent the morning investigating. The order came through one of our board members, a Reynolds plant, as it turns out. They orchestrated it to create exactly this division between us. Serena processed this, weighing it against what she knew of corporate espionage tactics. You have proof? In answer, Adam activated the room's display, showing internal Sentinel communications that had been intercepted and rerouted through carefully disguised channels. The evidence supported his claim of sabotage from within. I've removed the board member responsible and initiated a security audit of all our systems, Adam explained. But the damage to Williams Tech has already been done. My father received photographs of you meeting with his competitors, Serena countered. How do you explain those? Standard industry networking, taken out of context and carefully selected. To suggest conspiracy, Adam replied without hesitation. I meet with hundreds of executives yearly. Reynolds cherry-picked images to create a false narrative. His explanation was plausible, yet Serena wasn't fully convinced. Why should I believe you over Marcus? He's been surprisingly honest about his own wrongdoing. Adam's expression darkened. Because Marcus Reynolds is playing you, Serena. His sudden attack of conscience is carefully calculated. The question is why? Before she could respond, Gabriel burst into the room. We have a problem. Reynolds just moved up his press conference. It's starting now. The main screen switched to a live feed of Harold Reynolds approaching a podium, his expression severe but satisfied. Marcus stood slightly behind him, looking uncomfortable but resolute. Ladies and gentlemen, Harold began, today I'm here to expose a decade-long campaign of corporate espionage and technology theft perpetrated by Sentinel Security Systems and its founder, Adam Booker. As Harold launched into his accusations, Adam's phone chimed with an urgent message. He read it, his expression shifting from concern to shock. What is it? Serena asked. Gabriel's team found something in the Reynolds server data, he replied, forwarding the message to the room's display. Evidence that the compromising photos of you were part of a planned operation from the beginning, codenamed Williams Acquisition. The documents outlined a comprehensive strategy initiated over 2 years ago, long before Serena met Marcus. Reynolds Industries had identified Williams Tech's adaptive security protocols as critical to their international operations. When legitimate acquisition offers were rejected, they developed alternative pressure strategies, including having Marcus pursue a relationship with Serena. "He knew," Serena whispered, the betrayal cutting fresh. "From the very first date, he was executing a corporate strategy." Adam's expression softened with sympathy. "I'm sorry, Serena." On screen, Harold was now displaying documents allegedly proving Sentinel's theft of proprietary technology. The media representatives looked suitably shocked, scribbling notes furiously. "We need to respond," Gabriel urged. "This narrative is taking hold." "Wait," Serena said suddenly, studying the documents more closely. "These file signatures, I recognize. The pattern. Maya, can you pull up Project Firewall from our secure archive?" Maya complied, displaying Sentinel's encrypted research database on a separate screen. Serena quickly navigated to a specific directory, then split-screened it with the Reynolds presentation. "Look at this," she said urgently. "The encryption protocols Reynolds claims Adam stole, they were independently developed by Williams Tech. 3 years before Project Genesis even existed. My father created the foundational algorithm during his early research." Adam stared at the evidence, connections forming rapidly. "That's why they targeted your father's company. They needed to bury the original research that would prove they were the thieves, not me. We need to get this information to the press conference," Maya insisted. "Immediately." "No," Serena countered, an idea forming. "We need to do more than defend. We need to reveal the entire operation." She turned to Adam. "Do you trust me to handle this?" The question carried weight beyond the immediate crisis. It addressed the fundamental breach of trust between them. Adam's answer came without hesitation, completely. With renewed purpose, Serena outlined a counter-strategy that would expose Reynolds Industries' years-long campaign of corporate espionage, patent infringement, and personal manipulation. Within minutes, the team was executing her plan, transmitting evidence to key financial journalists and regulatory authorities simultaneously. As they worked, Adam pulled Serena aside. "There's something else you should know. About Marcus." She tensed, bracing for more revelations. "What now?" "His apparent change of heart, helping you get the photos back, warning you about his father's plans. It's not what it seems," Adam explained. "Gabriel's team discovered communications indicating Marcus is positioning to take over Reynolds Industries. He's using this conflict to undermine his father's leadership while appearing morally superior himself." The information settled like a stone in Serena's stomach. Even Marcus's apparent redemption had been strategic manipulation. "So, both Reynolds' men used me," she said flatly. "Father and son." "I'm afraid so," Adam confirmed gently. "I'm sorry, Serena. You deserved better." The simple validation of her feelings, her right to feel betrayed, unexpectedly brought tears to her eyes. She blinked them back, refocusing on their immediate challenge. On screen, Harold Reynolds was concluding his accusations against Sentinel, looking smugly victorious as he invited questions from reporters. The first came from a financial journalist Serena recognized. "Mr. Reynolds, could you comment on documents just released suggesting Reynolds Industries systematically stole encryption technology from Williams Tech and then attempted to acquire the company to hide the evidence?" Harold's composure slipped momentarily. "I'm not aware of any such documents." "They were released minutes ago," the journalist continued, "along with evidence that your son's relationship with Serena Williams was orchestrated as part of a corporate acquisition strategy. Do you deny these allegations?" The camera caught Marcus's expression of alarm as he realized their operation had been exposed. Harold attempted damage control, but more journalists began asking pointed questions about the Williams acquisition strategy and the compromising photos taken as leverage. Within minutes, the press conference had transformed from a planned takedown of Sentinel into a defensive scramble for Reynolds Industries. When questioned directly about selling security technology to sanctioned countries, Harold abruptly ended the press conference, hurrying away with Marcus in tow. The crisis room erupted in triumphant energy as news tickers began reporting on the shocking allegations of corporate espionage against Reynolds Industries. Financial analysts were already predicting significant stock devaluation and potential regulatory investigations. "You did it," Adam said quietly to Serena, genuine admiration in his eyes. "You turned their entire strategy against them." "We did it," she corrected, allowing herself to acknowledge their effective partnership despite the complicated emotions between them. "But this isn't over yet." As if proving her point, Maya reported that Marcus Reynolds was requesting to speak with Serena urgently. "He's in the lobby, says it's a matter of life and death." Adam tensed. "It's another manipulation." "Probably," Serena agreed. "But I need to hear what he has to say." Before Adam could protest, she added, "I'll take security with me." In the secure meeting room off the main lobby, Marcus paced anxiously, his normally impeccable appearance disheveled. He stopped when Serena entered, relief crossing his features. "Serena, thank God. You need to leave the building now." "Why would I do that?" she asked coolly, maintaining safe distance with security personnel visibly present outside. "Because my father has lost his mind," Marcus replied, genuine fear in his voice. "When our press conference backfired, he activated contingency measures. There's a cyber attack aimed at Sentinel's core systems, scheduled to deploy within the hour. But it's not just digital. He has people inside the building." "More manipulation, Marcus. Is this how you plan to replace your father as CEO? By warning me about threats that don't exist?" Marcus looked genuinely startled. "What? No, Serena, this is real. My father would rather destroy Sentinel completely than lose to Adam Booker. You need to evacuate the building now." Before she could respond, the building's security alarms activated, emergency lights bathing the room in pulsing red. Through the glass walls, Serena could see staff moving rapidly toward exits. Her phone buzzed with a message from Adam. "Server room breach confirmed. Building evacuation initiated. Meet me at emergency exit B." "You knew about this," she accused Marcus, who looked genuinely alarmed by the unfolding chaos. "Not this soon," he admitted. "Please, Serena, whatever you think of me, I'm trying to help you now. My father's vendetta against Booker has consumed him. He doesn't care who gets hurt anymore." The sincerity in his voice gave Serena pause. Before she could decide how to respond, Adam burst into the room, eyes locking immediately on Marcus with barely contained fury. "What have you done?" he demanded. "For once, nothing," Marcus replied, hands raised defensively. "I came to warn Serena." "After your family planted the threat," Adam countered. "Not me," Marcus insisted. "My father's working with people I don't even know. This is beyond corporate warfare. He's completely unhinged." Security personnel reported that the building's digital systems were under attack, with fire suppression and elevator controls already compromised. Adam made an immediate decision. "We're evacuating, all of us, including you, Reynolds," he added grimly. "If this is a trap, you're coming with us." As they moved toward the emergency exit, another wave of nausea hit Serena, stronger than before. She stumbled, lightheaded, instinctively placing a protective hand over her abdomen. Adam caught her arm, steadying her with concern. "Serena, what's wrong?" The moment of vulnerability forced a decision she'd been avoiding. With alarms blaring and chaos erupting around them, personal truth suddenly seemed more important than corporate warfare. "I'm pregnant," she admitted. meeting his eyes directly. 8 weeks, Denver. Adam froze, shock and wonder transforming his expression. We're... He couldn't seem to form complete sentences. Yes, she confirmed simply. For a moment, the building could have been collapsing around them, and neither would have noticed. Something fundamental shifted in Adam's eyes, a new determination, a fiercer protectiveness. "We need to get you out of here," he said, his voice gentle but urgent. "Now." As they continued toward the exit, Serena caught Marcus watching them with an unreadable expression. She couldn't tell if he'd overheard her revelation, but something in his gaze suggested he understood he'd truly lost her, not to Adam Booker, but to a future that had no place for Reynolds' family machinations. Outside the building, as emergency vehicles arrived and Sentinel security established a perimeter, Adam kept Serena close, his hand protectively at the small of her back. The gesture was subtle but profound, a silent promise that whatever challenges they faced, they would face them together. The child growing within her had changed everything, forcing truth where strategic ambiguity had prevailed, demanding authenticity where corporate games had dominated. As Serena watched Harold Reynolds being questioned by federal agents who had arrived with surprising speed, she realized that the greatest victory wasn't the exposure of Reynolds Industries' misdeeds. It was the hard-won clarity between her and Adam. "We have a lot to talk about," she said quietly to him, as the crisis management team coordinated their response. "Yes," Adam agreed, his eyes never leaving hers. "Starting with how I'm going to keep you and our child safe from whatever Harold Reynolds might try next." The simple acknowledgement of their shared future, complicated as it might be, settled something in Serena's heart. Trust, once shattered, couldn't be instantly restored. But truth, however difficult, created a foundation for rebuilding what mattered most. Chapter 10. Sweet Revenge. 6 weeks after the dramatic events at Sentinel headquarters, Serena adjusted the collar of her tailored blazer as she prepared to enter the federal courthouse. At 14 weeks pregnant, her condition wasn't yet visible beneath her professional attire, but the morning sickness had finally subsided, leaving her feeling more herself than she had in months. "Ready?" Adam asked, offering his arm as they approached the imposing building where Harold Reynolds' bail hearing was scheduled. Serena nodded, drawing strength from his steady presence. The weeks since the attempted cyber attack had been transformative for both of them. With Reynolds Industries under federal investigation for corporate espionage, wire fraud, and illegal technology transfers, their focus had shifted from defense to rebuilding. "Just remember," Adam said quietly as they climbed the courthouse steps, "today isn't about revenge, it's about justice." Inside, the courtroom buzzed with media and industry spectators. Marcus sat alone in the front row, his father's allies having abandoned ship as evidence of Harold's crimes mounted. When he spotted Serena and Adam, he nodded slightly, an acknowledgement without warmth. The proceedings moved swiftly. Despite Harold's legal team arguing for leniency, the judge denied bail, citing flight risk and the severity of the charges. As federal marshals led Harold away, his eyes locked with Serena's, burning with undimmed hatred. "It's really over," she whispered to Adam as they exited the courtroom. "Almost," he replied. "There's one more thing we need to do." Outside, reporters swarmed, cameras flashing. Rather than avoiding them as they had for weeks, Adam guided Serena toward the designated press area. "Mr. Booker, will Sentinel pursue civil damages against Reynolds Industries?" Adam spoke clearly into the microphones. "Today isn't about corporations or money. It's about accountability. Harold Reynolds weaponized personal relationships and private moments for corporate gain. That ends now." Serena stepped forward. "Williams Tech and Sentinel Security are announcing a formal merger today," she stated confidently. We're combining our technologies to create security systems that protect privacy rather than exploit it. The announcement sent ripples through the assembled press. As questions flew, Serena spotted Marcus at the edge of the crowd, his expression a complex mixture of resignation and regret. Later that evening, in the quiet of their newly shared penthouse, Serena and Adam stood on the balcony overlooking the city lights. "Your father seemed pleased with the merger terms," Adam noted, his arms encircling her from behind, hands resting gently on her still flat abdomen. "He's thrilled," Serena confirmed, "though I think he's more excited about becoming a grandfather." They had moved cautiously in rebuilding their relationship, prioritizing honesty over passion, trust over convenience. The pregnancy had accelerated their timeline, but not their careful attention to healing the wounds of betrayal. "I received Marcus's plea deal offer today," Adam said. "In exchange for testimony against his father, he gets immunity and retains a minority stake in the restructured company." "And you agreed?" Serena asked, surprised. "Justice doesn't always mean destruction," Adam replied. "Sometimes it means transformation. Besides," he added with a hint of satisfaction, "watching his father's empire dismantled while he remains powerless to stop it seems like fitting punishment." Serena turned in his arms, studying the face of the man who had gone from childhood acquaintance to business ally to the father of her child. The journey had been complicated by lies and manipulations, but ultimately forged in hard-won truth. "When I stood at that altar with Marcus, I thought I knew what love was," she reflected. "I had no idea it would take heartbreak and betrayal to find the real thing." Adam's eyes softened as he placed a gentle hand on her cheek. "Some paths are more winding than others, but they still lead where they're meant to." 3 months later, at a small private ceremony overlooking the ocean, Serena and Adam exchanged vows with only their closest friends and family present. Her father beamed with pride as he walked her down the aisle, her ivory gown elegantly accommodating her growing baby bump. As Adam slipped the ring onto her finger, Serena reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From abandoned bride to expectant mother, from corporate pawn to powerful partner, she had reclaimed not just her dignity, but her future. The ultimate revenge against those who had tried to use her wasn't their downfall, satisfying as that had been. It was her triumph, this new life built on genuine love, mutual respect, and the unshakable foundation of truth they had fought so hard to establish. When their daughter was born 3 months later, a strong, beautiful girl with her mother's determined spirit and her father's thoughtful eyes, they named her Faith, a testament to what they had found in each other when all other certainties had failed.